Okay, we're finally going to play some guitar. We're going to learn how to position our hands and hold the instrument. So the first thing I would say is be careful not to angle your guitar out. It's very tempting when you're first starting out to angle the guitar away from your body and hold it in this weird position. The reason is because when you look at the guitar, you can kind of see what you're doing, and it's tempting, you know. You can look at your hand, you can see exactly what's going on, but it doesn't really work for a couple of reasons. Number one is that you're reaching under to get your chords and everything. If you have the guitar angled out, guess what? You're reaching even further and contorting your arm. So we're not going to do that. We're going to have it upright, kind of snugly over your right leg. I guess if it was a nylon string guitar, you could switch it over to here and play classical, but we're talking about your basic strummy style guitar. So we're putting it on our right leg and holding it, you know, upright. I am going to be talking in terms of right hand, left hand. For those of you out there that are left-handed, I'm sorry if this comes across as right-handist, but I'm actually just kind of how it comes out. But you know what I mean. Picking hand, fretting hand. If I say right, if I say left, you know what to do. So for our right hand, we're going to hold the pick. Remember when I told you to get picks? You did that, right? You have picks. So we're going to hold the pick in a way that buries it a little bit in our hand. Here, I'll just show you a little closer. You don't want the pick to be sticking out super far like a weird appendage. You just want to kind of get it in there between your thumb and your first finger, sort of hooked like this, and have the pick just gently sitting in there, but deep enough that if you don't squeeze, it still stays. You see what I mean? It only takes a little bit of energy to keep it firmly in there. You do not want to be holding on to your pick for dear life. If it feels stiff, that means you're holding it too tight and you're going to tire your hand out really fast, and you're also going to have a stiff sound when it hits the strings. The sound we want is a gentle kind of feathering, believe it or not. It's not really a strummy rake. Like, you don't want that. You want this. Like a feathering, kind of brushing motion. Sounds really good. So, in order to get that sound, you're going to need to have your pick deep enough in there to be firm without you having to pinch it firm. So hold it loose, keep your hand nice and relaxed. You're going to sacrifice some control there, but your control is going to come later. Right now, it's more about chilling and just strumming on the beach. You know what I mean? I don't really want my dogs to get involved in this. So what I'm going to do now is deal with the fretting hand, or the left hand. We're going to talk about exactly how our fingers are hitting the guitar. The first thing I want you to know is that we're not playing guitar with the pads of our fingers. Sometimes we're going to have to, but by default, you're coming at them with your fingertips straight onto the strings like little hammers. There's lots of reasons for this, but you notice that when guitar players have calluses, the calluses are right at the ends of their fingers. And this is a little counterintuitive because there's not too many things in life where you grab things with the absolute tips of your fingers. Usually the pads are involved when you're like just holding something, but we're not holding something. We're actually pressing. So it's more like pressing a button, or, you know, it's mashing right into that end. It's weird at first, and it can even hurt for a while, but that goes away. You totally get used to it. So when we're coming onto the strings, we're going straight on. Part of the reason for this is because when a chord has a lot of notes in it, if you're coming at it from too much of like a 45-degree angle or even worse, you're going to hear notes kind of crapping out. That sort of thing. If you come straight on, then each finger is going straight to its dedicated string, and the next string over is not affected by it. Crystal clear. Okay, so that's the angle. Next, we're going to talk about where the fingers actually hit the guitar. I'm going to switch to my hand cam here. We're going to go close to the frets. We're not going to play here in the middle area. We're going to go right up to the fret. Not quite on top of it like this, because then you're actually flirting with the next note, which we don't want to do. You want to be real close to the point where you can sort of feel that little bump coming up to your finger. I can feel the frets when I'm playing. I'm not right in the middle usually, okay? Close to the frets. Why is that? That is because the closer you are to the fret, the less pressure you have to put down. If you get away from the frets, you have to press really hard to get a clean note, and then you've got all kinds of problems. You're wearing out your hand. You're probably pressing so hard that the strings are starting to bend a little bit and go out of tune. If you get it close to the fret, you can be more gentle with your hand, and you can learn a good habit of not pressing harder than you're supposed to. Which when you're starting out, it feels like you're pressing super hard all the time anyway. So we're going to minimize that and just play real close to the frets, okay? Now, the last one here on the fretting hand is a little bit controversial, okay? Some people are going to disagree with this one. That's okay, but it's my guitar course, and I can thumb if I want to. Check this out. Look where my thumb is. I actually have my hand pretty close to the guitar, and my thumb is hanging out up here on this region. The reason for this is because I use my thumb to mute this fattest string here when I'm playing a chord that doesn't include that note. So here's an example. I'm muting that string with my thumb. In other cases, I might even reach and play the note and fret the note with my thumb. God forbid. There's plenty of reasons to do it, but anybody who comes at me with any attitude about putting my thumb over the top of the guitar, I will refer them back to the greatest guitar player of all time, Jimi Hendrix. If it was good enough for Jimi, it's good enough for us. So I keep my thumb, accessible to that string, either to mute it or to fret it. We're not going to deal with that right away, but I just want you to know that if you're, if in the classical tradition, you're going to put your thumb way down the back of the neck, like right in the middle of the neck. And it's a great, it's a great position for playing a lot of different extended chords and different things like that. But for this kind of cowboy strummy strum stuff that we're going to be doing, we're going to have that thumb ready to go. Okay? Just trust me on this. So, nice gentle pick grip, deep but gentle pick grip, and hammer action fingers playing right up next to the frets. And don't be afraid of the thumb hanging out up here, because we are going to use it. That's it for hand position. Oh yeah, and keep your guitar straight up. Don't do this. Don't do this thing unless you're a bass player in a mariachi band, in which case, yeah, you would do that. Anyway, here comes the G chord.